Today, I'm recapping a Japanese sci-fi and fantasy drama titled The Disastrous Life of Seiki K. The movie opens with a guy rambling about how much he loves dogs after seeing a woman walking one. He only says this because he believes women are more attracted to dog lovers. Odd logic, right? But that's just the beginning of his strange thoughts. While he holds the dog, talking about his love for them, internally, he actually despises dogs. He accidentally drops the dog, which runs into the street and nearly gets hit by a bus. Miraculously, the bus seems to float over the dog, thanks to none other than Kusuo Seiki. Kusuo is a 16-year-old born with psychic powers. His parents? Completely unfazed by anything abnormal. At just 10 days old, Kusuo was already talking. Most parents would panic, his didn't. By 1 month, he could walk and even fly. Instead of worry, his parents were thrilled by their son's incredible abilities. By age 1, Kusuo could read books and fully understand speech. Again, his parents weren't alarmed. The only time they seemed slightly concerned was when Kusuo teleported to a store to fetch rice wine for his mom, then came back with 10 bottles. They weren't bothered by the teleportation. They were just upset he shoplifted. Now, fast forward 15 years. You'd expect someone with his powers to be rich, famous, or a superhero. But nope, Kusuo finds his abilities more burdensome than helpful. For him, life feels too scripted, and all he wants is a peaceful, quiet existence. But with powers like his, that's easier said than done. At school, Kusuo avoids drawing attention. Ironically, his distinct pink hair and 2 strange orbs attached to it make him stand out anyway. Those orbs actually help suppress his powers. Without them, he could destroy the world without effort. You'd think his classmates would find it odd, but Kusuo uses his powers to make them see it as completely normal. During class, a teacher named Matsuzaki enters and announces the upcoming PK Festival, their school's annual cultural celebration. However, this festival has a history of chaos, fights, inappropriate behavior, and noise complaints. Matsuzaki warns that any issues this year will lead to the event being permanently canceled. For Kusuo, this day is sacred. He uses the festival as an excuse to take his yearly trip. Determined not to lose that, he silently vows to prevent any disasters. The teacher then assigns the class to brainstorm ideas for the festival. A hyperactive student named Keidu Haruo jumps at the chance to lead the discussion. The class eventually settles on creating a rock exhibition with stones they find around campus. Kusuo and most of the class are satisfied with the idea, except Haruo, who finds it too dull and lacking passion. While Kusuo worries about keeping the festival on track, a goofy-looking student named Riki Nindu approaches him and suggests they go rock hunting together. Kusuo, however, wants nothing to do with him. He believes Nindu is less intelligent than a gorilla. Nindu refuses to leave Kusuo alone and keeps tailing him. Along the way, they run into Shun Kaido, a classmate suffering from delusions. Kaido receives a mysterious letter claiming that an evil group called Dark Reunion is plotting to wipe out humanity, and that it's his duty to stop them. He even says they'll strike during the school's cultural festival. Kusuo doesn't buy it, but becomes curious about who sent the letter. Back in class, students show off the rocks they've collected for the upcoming exhibition. Meanwhile, the school's self-proclaimed most beautiful girl, Kokomi Terahashi, is being urged by her friends to enter the beauty contest. She pretends to be humble and says she won't participate because she thinks she'll lose. But inwardly, she believes she'll win easily. Kusuo finds her fake modesty annoying. She's obsessed with boys gasping at her beauty and is fixated on getting Kusuo, who's the only boy not charmed by her, to finally say wow. She plans to ask him to hang out with her, but Kaido barges in dramatically, dragging Kusuo off to fight Dark Reunion. On the day of the festival, Kusuo's parents feel a bad omen, expecting some Kusuo-level disaster to happen. Terahashi follows Kusuo again, determined to make him say wow at least 100 times that day. At the festival, students show off their projects. Kusuo's class presents their rock display. As Kusuo tries to leave, he's stopped by Arin Kobayasu, a delinquent who transferred to the school 3 months ago. Arin suspects that Kusuo can see through his good kid act and knows he's really a former gangster. Kusuo, who already knows Arin's entire history, pretends to be clueless. Meanwhile, Terahashi is still bent on making Kusuo fall for her. She secretly puts a letter in his locker, hoping it will impress him. But Kusuo, knowing her intentions, couldn't care less. As she overanalyzes his silence with increasingly ridiculous theories, Kusuo only grows more convinced that he could never like someone who thinks like that. As Kusuo patrols the festival to prevent disasters, he senses danger and an illusionist act. A student named Shun and his mother are performing a magic trick. He's supposed to escape a locked box before she stabs it with knives. Fearing something might go wrong, Kusuo teleports into the box to rescue the boy, only to find out the escape was planned all along. Now, stuck inside, he realizes he can't teleport again for another 10 minutes. Trapped, Kusuo endures as the mother stabs knives into the box, lifts it with a crane and drops it 30 feet, sets it on fire, and finally tries to crush it with a roller. Just before he's flattened, Kusuo teleports out in the nick of time. Meanwhile, the beauty contest begins. Terahashi, instead of competing, decides to be a judge, thinking it might impress Kusuo more. Elsewhere, the ever-delusional Kaido is approached by a group of boys who jokingly call themselves Dark Reunion. Naturally, Kaido takes them seriously and prepares to battle them. Kaido is informed by the fake Dark Reunion members about 7 mystical balls hidden around the school, the only items capable of destroying them. Fully convinced, Kaido takes off on a mission to find the balls and fulfill what he believes to be his heroic destiny. Meanwhile, Haruo, ever full of energy, organizes a 10-kilometer marathon as part of the festival. The grand prize? The winner gets to stare into Terahashi's face for 10 minutes. Yes, seriously. Strangely enough, many students join, including Nindu, who's hesitant at first but eventually jumps in. Kusuo, Saki, is uneasy about the marathon, certain that someone will get hurt, so he decides to monitor the race from the sky to ensure everyone's safety. At the same time, Arin Kobayasu, the reformed delinquent, receives a challenge from his former gang to settle old scores during the marathon. Haruo runs with intense determination, but oddly, Nindu, who barely seems to be trying, starts pulling ahead, even running in reverse at one point. This frustrates Haruo, pushing him to try harder, but he still can't catch Nindu. Eventually, Haruo manages to win the race. Elsewhere, Kobayasu accepts the gang's challenge and goes to face them. At first, they don't recognize him because of his glasses and respectable appearance. But when they ask Kaido about him, Kaido carelessly points him out, blowing his cover. Realizing the jig is up, Kobayasu confronts the gang, and a fight breaks out. Meanwhile, Terahashi is still obsessively chasing after Kusuo. This time, she suggests they go to the haunted house together, believing he'll be charmed if she acts cute and scared. Her plan is ruined when Nindu shows up and insists on joining them. In a funny twist, Nindu suggests they scare the ghosts instead, and it works. His face is so scary it knocks one ghost out cold. Terahashi is livid and starts seeing Nindu as a total nuisance. Afterward, Kusuo and Nindu head to the bathroom to wash off their ghost makeup. While washing, Kusuo realizes his special glasses are missing. Glasses he wears to keep one of his dangerous powers in check. If someone makes direct eye contact with him without the glasses, they turn to stone. Before he can stop it, he sees Nindu wearing the glasses and trying to remove them, accidentally making direct eye contact. Too late, Nindu turns into a stone statue. Though the effect wears off after one day, Kusuo now has to figure out where to hide a life-size stone version of Nindu without raising suspicion. The solution? The class rock exhibition. He teleports the statue there and begins walking the school with his eyes shut, trying to avoid turning more people to stone. But one by one, people force him to open his eyes and get petrified as a result. He keeps sending the statues to the rock display until the entire exhibit is filled with stone people. Eventually, he finds a seemingly safe location, only to run into Terahashi. He begs her to leave, and surprisingly, she listens. Nearby, he sees Kobayasu still brawling with his old gang. Kusuo asks him for his glasses. Kobayasu hands them over, but is practically blind without them. Kusuo defeats the gang with ease, and they flee, promising never to forget him. Now with his glasses back, Kusuo uses his powers to teleport Kobayasu a spare pair of his own glasses from home. Later, Terahashi approaches Kusuo again to ask what happened earlier. He brushes her off, trying to leave, but is stopped by a group of her obsessive male fans, the Kakamans. They threaten him, warning him to stay away from their queen or face consequences. To make their point, they seal the room's door from the outside, trapping Kusuo and Terahashi inside. Meanwhile, Kaido finally locates the 7 balls he believes can defeat Dark Reunion. He uses them in an overly dramatic fashion, causing the prank group to play along, fleeing in fear. Their leader makes a dramatic exit, promising that a global catastrophe is still on its way. Back in the locked room, Kusuo and Terahashi are still trapped together. What Terahashi doesn't realize is that Kusuo, Saki, can hear every thought in her head. As he listens, he discovers that everything leading up to this moment was part of her master plan. She had convinced Haruo to organize the marathon, so he'd be too tired to hang out with Kusuo. She also arranged for a group of students to pretend to be Dark Reunion to keep Kaido distracted. Her final move was instructing her fan club, the Kakamans, to trap her and Kusuo in a room, hoping the situation would finally force him to say the magical word, "Wow." Meanwhile, outside the room, Kobayashi's former gang returns in full force. Sensing the threat, Kusuwa uses his powers to make them all vanish just before they attack the other students. However, using such immense psychic energy leaves him unconscious. Terahashi, stunned by his sudden state, convinces herself that it's because he loves her. She notices one of the psychic control devices, the balls, on his head and removes it. This action triggers a massive global catastrophe. Kusuwa's unrestrained psychic powers spiral out of control, causing mass panic across the world. The school building vanishes entirely and floats in outer space. The room they're trapped in turns freezing cold, and Terahashi faints from the temperature. Eventually, Kusuo regains enough strength to retrieve the ball using his powers and restores the building back to Earth. Realizing the chaos caused in just a few moments, he uses his time reversal ability to rewind everything back to the day before, giving him another chance to prevent disaster. Now, everyone will relive the same day, but Kusuo is determined to keep things under control this time. Will he succeed in avoiding chaos? And will Terahashi ever give up her mission to make him say wow? We'll find out in due time. If you enjoyed this movie recap, be sure to drop a comment, like the video, and subscribe for more content like this. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Until next time, take care.